Hello, everybody. My name's Rick McCutcheon. I'm a Dynamics 365 MVP, and I'm here today with my good friend, Nelson Lopes from Microsoft Canada. Nelson, introduce yourself and tell the people what you do.
Hey, Rick. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Nelson Lopes. I'm a partner technology architect. And basically what I do is I work with Microsoft partners to help them start, grow, and optimize a practice around low code, no code technology, specifically Microsoft Power Platform.
And, we've known each other for quite a long time now because you were one of the original Dynamics CRM team members in Canada. Tell us a little bit about your history with the products.
Yeah, it's been quite some time. So I got into Dynamics. I still actually remember it was December of 2006, and it was Dynamics around 3.0 or 4.0, and just went through all the iterations of the product. At that time, it was just on premise, and then I think it was around like March 2008. That's when Dynamics went online, and it was originally called CRM Live, and then they changed it to CRM Online. Around September of 2019, I decided I love business apps and Dynamics, but I decided to move over to Power Platform and focus on low code, no code.
And let's talk a little bit about where Power Platform came from, because it really came out of the low code engine within Dynamics CE CRM. So let's talk a little bit about that, the origins of the project.
Yeah, it's a really interesting history. Around sometime around 2010, what happened was the business applications team, the Dynamics team, were hearing from customers customers were using CRM in a number of ways other than traditional customer relationship management, like Salesforce automation, customer service. So the product was so flexible that customers were creating all sorts of things. And so this term called XRM came into play. And so people were adopting or using CRM for vendor relationship management, property management, a number of different things. But for many years, the community was asking, it would be great if we could just separate the foundation, the platform from the UI, because a lot of partners, a lot of customers were using the existing Dynamics UI, but they really wanted that flexibility and kind of separate the two. And so fast forward to many years later, Power Platform was born. And there's like some huge chunks of the architecture of Microsoft Power Platform today that actually do come from Dynamics, specifically Dataverse, which used to be called Common Data Service, and the concept of the model-driven app. Those two big components came from Dynamics.
And it's interesting from an MVP perspective, because we had all these business application MVPs, and I think most of them have moved over to become Power Platform MVPs. So talk a little bit about the products and what are the opportunities for partners to get involved with them.
Yeah, there's a whole suite of different pieces and technologies within Microsoft Power Platform. There's Power Apps, there's Power Automate, which used to be called Microsoft Flow. There's a number of different components. There's Power Portals, there's AI Builder. Basically, for partners, there's 5 ways to monetize their services and to make money in Microsoft Power Platform. The first is application development. So taking a manual paper-based process, maybe it's prone with human errors, and creating an app or creating a solution on top of that. That's application development. The second is application modernization. So a solution may already exist in a digital format. Like very often we migrate things from Excel spreadsheets or Lotus Notes, or even something like Microsoft InfoPath, and putting it in a more modern experience with a modern interface, the ability to inject AI, cloud enabled, and so forth. So just improving the experience. That's number 2. Number 3 is business process automation. And so partners can could sell their services around this. And this is really looking at a workflow or a business process that an existing client has and optimizing it. Like along the way, there might be some unnecessary manual steps, and maybe we can automate that or streamline it and be able to provide some AI and some analytics and reporting to look at the entire business process and see where the bottlenecks are to streamline that. The fourth way to make money is center of excellence. So as a partner works with a customer, it's not uncommon for that customer to start off, like if they're really new to low code, no code and Power Platform, like the first, couple of months, they might have a couple of apps, but as that technology gets familiar within the customer organization, it's not that uncommon for those couple apps to grow to a dozen apps or even 100 apps or even a couple hundred apps. There are customers that have even over 1,000 Power apps in their organization. So when you get to that point, you're like, the natural question is like, how do you control that? How do you have some control over not only the look and feel, but the compliance, the governance of that? Like you don't want somebody when creating an app to use a connector that will take some sensitive company information and tweet it out, right? So that's what the Center of Excellence is. And Microsoft does have a Center of Excellence toolkit. You can find it on docs.microsoft.com, but there's a lot of partners that have built best practices and thought leadership on top of that. So that's the fourth way. And the final way, I guess, is the fifth way that partners can make money in Power Platform is to use the platform to build and sell a repeatable application or solution. So we now, the platform, Microsoft Power Platform is really the exact same platform that Microsoft uses to develop its own first-party Dynamics 365 apps. So things like Dynamics 365 for sales and service and marketing. And so partners can create a solution and sell it and charge per user per month. And so that's a form of reoccurring revenue. So those are 5 ways that a partner can make money in Power Platform. So just to summarize: application development, application modernization, business process automation, center of excellence, and then creating an repeatable application on Microsoft Power Platform.
And the last piece that you were talking about there is really, I do a lot of work with ISVs, and that's what I see the ISVs kind of flocking to the platform, because it's giving them the tool sets. You don't have to have the full Dynamics license now, so you can use it for a lot more, like it's leaner applications within an organization. And I got to tell you, the uptake and excitement about the product is pretty strong out there.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I mean, we always knew that back in 2010, it was over a decade, Rick, that with XRM, we knew that was special, right? Like we always knew that, if we could only just go a little bit further and abstract, the UI from the foundation and the core, and provide a little bit more flexibility here and here, this could just really take off. And sure enough, better late than never, right? We have this amazing platform that really just empowers citizen developers, power users, but also professional developers too. Like to your point, like ISVs have professional developers, and there's enormous advantages as a professional developer in terms of agility and productivity to start off with a platform. You don't have to worry about all the plumbing, like all the things like duplication detection and auditing. All that stuff is just built into Microsoft Dataverse and things you don't have to worry about. There's still opportunity to write custom code and to extend it, and you will do that where it makes sense to do so. But it's kind of like the 80-20 rule in some situations, right? Like, why not just start off with a platform that can get you like, 50, 60%, maybe even 75% there. And then polish up that application and just really focus on the user experience and the value that customers get from that application and that solution.
And I think the most exciting part of this is, back in 2010, if a company wanted to do this, it was expensive. It took a lot of time and effort. But I think now with the tool set that we have, even an SMB client can start to build out their workflow and processes and databases with this application at a low cost. right? And it can scale all the way up to an enterprise. So I think,
Yeah.
Microsoft's done a great job of sort of taking our XRM base, pulling it out and actually developing it into a platform.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. It's a great equalizer. And so if you go to Microsoft.com/case studies, you'll see all the different clients and customers that are using Microsoft Power Platform. And it's just a whole spectrum from the largest, Fortune 500 companies to small organizations, SMB, that might actually have just one technical person on site. There's one case study, I can't remember the name of it right now, and it was one of those situations where the company, I think they had like about 250 employees, and they had one technical person, and that technical person was able to create dozens of different apps and literally transform that organization using Microsoft Power Platform. So yeah, it's an amazing story.
So Nelson, what excites you that's coming down the road on the Power Platform?
There's a lot of pieces around Microsoft Power Platform, a lot of different components and services that I love. I would say robotic process automation is one of my favorites. So that's the ability for all those applications that don't have an API, or there's no easy way to get data in and out of it. Robotic process automation allows you to do screen clicks to mimic being able to take data out of those applications and to put them into Microsoft Power Platform, to put it into Power Automate and to run a workflow. But I think probably the thing that I'm looking forward to the most is the evolution of AI Builder. So AI Builder is a service within Microsoft Power Platform that allows you to insert AI into your workflow, into your app. Today, we have a couple of different AI models, the ability to read forms, like read a PDF form, extract the data in there, be able to process it, put it into a workflow, put it into an app, being able to take a picture. This is actually a real world situation. Be able to walk into a retail location, take a picture of a number of bottles and cans of Pepsi and Mountain Dew, and being able to count the number and distinguish, okay, there's 40 cans of Pepsi and there's 30 bottles of Mountain Dew, and being able to insert that into your application and to your workflow. Just last year or a couple of years ago, being able to insert that level of AI would have taken weeks, if not months, and it would have involved a few data scientists. But being able to now do that literally within minutes, actually, it's like a wizard that will walk you through the training of the model, and being able to optimize that. It's just absolutely incredible. So, there's enormous value to just creating the app itself and to add some analytics, but then to be able to insert some AI into it so quickly is just an incredible thing.
So, and we look at this, and it's so much opportunity for partners to bring these solutions to their customers, because the customers probably looked to do that 3 or 4 years ago and said, that's going to cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Now it's not. We can get in there and we can do that type of work. So Nelson, it was a pleasure talking to you as always, and I'm certainly going to follow up to find out, what else is, coming down the road for partners around Power Platform. But I want to thank you today for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Rick. It was a pleasure to be here. Cheers.